So that's good to promote the tourist industry between Italy and the south of France. So Dr. COCONEA, she holds a PhD in electronics and telecommunications engineering from Politecnico di Torino and currently works at SWACO, dealing with the R&D activities connected with urban mobility management. So Laura is going to present SWACO's answers to many of the challenges that our cities face at the moment. Please.
Thank you. So, thank you for the introduction and thank you for hosting me here today. So, I come from SWACO. SWACO is an international group, it's a family-owned group by the Swarovski family. We are all around the world. We are present in 40 countries because we work a lot at local level, dealing with public authorities. And our aim is basically to overcome the limits of the infrastructure and complete this with ITS solutions in order to answer the mobility challenges. SWACO Mizar, where I'm the head of innovation, is our Italian SWACO company, and basically is dealing with central ITS solutions, so for urban traffic management and public transport management. Actually, we call it the ITS expert of the SWACO group. The SWACO group has mainly two divisions. One is dealing with road marking systems and the other one with ITS. And usually my colleagues from RMS were present at this event, but this year we decided also to extend our presence to the ITS. So, what I decided for today, I had a choice of our main features of our products, just in order to share with you how we are preparing in order to face the current mobility challenges. So basically, now we are heading day by day to a more connected world where the user is always connected, and we also shift a lot from the vehicle transport mode to the other modes, so to public transport, bicycles, pedestrians. We need to deal with all of them when we talk about traffic management. In order to do this, we are focusing on four main pillars. One is data, so data collection and data management. The second is the integration of all ITS applications, because what we notice today in the cities and not only is that usually we have vertical applications dealing with various segments of market segments. So we have vertical applications for public transport, for street lighting, for urban mobility, and what we are trying to do, we are trying to manage all of them in an integrated way and with a unique interface towards the operator. So I was saying data management, integration, then we focus a lot on the concept of the connected traveler. And what we are doing also in collaboration with ERTICO, which is the European ITS Association, we are working on the concept of integrated traffic management, where the connected user basically becomes part of the loop of the traffic management. And last but not least, we are also working on different ways of procurement for all these solutions. So we are shifting from a system-based solution to a service-based solution. So from the traditional traffic management to a service-based proposition, to traffic management as a service. And these 4 points will be illustrated in the features that I will describe next. So what I was saying, the current scenario is like a silo scenario. all solutions in a city or in an environment are usually isolated and they don't communicate among them. And again, we have this limitation of legacy solutions that are not interfacing them among them. At the same time, we are trying to integrate the new trends in order to overcome these issues. So we talk about big data, cloud computing, social networking, what I was saying before, in order to integrate the user in the traffic management loop. And last but not least, also artificial intelligence. At both roadside, for example, in case of adaptive traffic control, you could use artificial intelligence combined with video detection in order to avoid installing loops, what we were saying before, and less loops we install, the more we preserve the actual infrastructure. And also at central side, at the traffic management center, you could use artificial intelligence, for example, for decision support systems, when you learn the patterns that create congestion and how you deal with this, and you can provide automated support to the operator in order to manage the traffic situation. Our products for dealing with this, there are 4, the main of them. Omnia is the high-level ITS integration platform, and for example, in some cities, like in Florence, we have some more than 14 systems coming from third parties, all integrated among them. Then we have the Utopia, the adaptive control system, and we are evolving Utopia in order to get it free from the loops. We have an ongoing project together with the University of Munich, and what we are aiming to do, what we are doing, is using video detection and floating car data in order to perform adaptive traffic control at intersection level and get free of the loops. Then we have the Flash platform, which is the public transport management system and offers also real-time passenger information. And last but not least, we have the modeling platform, which is dealing with advanced traffic forecasting. And here also in Rome, we are working together with TomTom in order to integrate floating car data and use it for advanced traffic forecasting. From the point of view of the different business models, what we are proposing now is this idea of traffic management as a service, where we propose, let's say, 2 levels of service provision. One is referred to the hosting of the system that should shift from in-house, so should not be held by the customer anymore, but could be managed by us in a cloud infrastructure. And then the second level is where the public authority could also outsource the traffic engineering competencies. And this fits a lot for small realities, from cities, as we were suggesting, from 50,000 to 500,000 inhabitants, where maybe at city level there are not enough competencies or personnel in order to deal with the traffic engineering. So we believe that traffic management as a service could be an answer to that. In order to do this, we all need to do a lot of work at policy level, because at least in Italy we have a lot of limitations due to the tendering process, for example, in order to get to a real implementation for traffic management as a service. With regard to the features, I was saying we focus a lot on data collection with all that it brings. So storage, validation, diagnosing, and operation, all this real time. And we focus a lot on standard protocols, This is very important, and we as VARCO are also present a lot in standardization groups. This enables, of course, the monitoring, the real-time monitoring of all devices and systems. And for example, we are also looking towards the future for data collection and monitoring, because, for example, in a funded R&D initiative, we are working on integration of nanotechnologies in our road marking systems. So we are looking towards the future, towards the smart dust concept, let's say. Then for the adaptive traffic control, this guarantees the optimal network balance, and it aims to control the traffic distribution across the network for all transportation modes. And how I was saying before, we are now working on shifting the adaptive traffic control from loop dependent to other sources of data. And all this in an integrated user experience. For each set of features, I have chosen a reference. For example, for traffic control, we are present in a lot of European cities, but for example, in Rome, we manage more than 200 centralized intersections. In the Nordics, more than 1,000 intersections. And for example, in Rome, we are also working on an innovation lab where we integrated the adaptive traffic control also with the floating car data integration in our systems, with new sensors like Bluetooth based, and we are also applying traffic management strategies based on that in an automated way. Then, for example, we also want to support the shift of the users. It was also mentioned at some point with the priority lanes in the presentation before. We also aim in supporting the shift from vehicle mode to other transportation modes, and we are working since years on public transport priority. And from the results derived from our installations, this can take to a decrease up to 30% of the travel time of the public transport vehicles from point to point. And for example, in Turin, we have implemented it on 4 tram lines. A new functionality came up last year, and it is the special vehicles priority on certain paths in the city. And we have, how does it work? The system detects the special vehicles, for example, an ambulance, and there are some predefined routes in the city. For example, in case of the ambulances towards the main hospitals, and the vehicle receives a priority grant on one corridor in case of emergency. And this functionality has been successfully implemented in Milan, and recently, some weeks ago, also in Verona, so for ambulances. Then we also deal with event management. In this case, we have an immediate response to an event that is suggested by the system. And it consists in a response plan generation that is automatic, but of course the action of an operator is always needed before actually actuating a plan. And this is something that we are able to apply in both urban environments and interurban environments. In this case, the reference that I wanted to share with you is on Autovie Venete in Italy, where we manage more than 100 variable message signs and other systems in order to do the event, to perform this event management. Then a new component released last year is called the Strategy Manager, And what it does basically, it identifies some critical points across the network, and when a certain condition is being verified, it actuates a strategy. For the moment, this is done through the traditional channels that are the urban traffic control and the VMS. And it was installed in Florence, where we also worked on a funded R&D activity funded by the European Commission on resilience management. So the idea is to be able to ensure the resilience of the system and to be able to answer to issues on the network, both on daily basis as in emergency situations. Then what I was saying, we are also able of integrating for all these features systems coming from third parties, so not only Svarco systems. Also, yes, Svarco has a complete portfolio coming from roadside devices like controllers, traffic lights, VMSs until the center side, but we are able to integrate also third-party systems. Then we have the overall network management that is enabled by the traffic modeling, that is able to predict the future traffic conditions on both measured and not measured arcs through advanced algorithms. And here we are now enhancing it with artificial intelligence capabilities. And as I was saying, in Florence we have 14 integrated systems. We manage more than 200 intersections, 80 VMS, public transport lines, and so on. And we implemented and tested successfully also the system for the resilience management. Just to look a little bit towards the future, we are working also a lot on the connected vehicles. And besides the usual day one cases use cases that we implemented in the Austrian part of the CITS corridor, let's say the use case that became already a product is the one related to the traffic light forecast. So when the user inside the vehicle is able to receive a speed advice based on changing of the phase of the traffic light. And this is based on a set of messages called spot map that are sent real time within the vehicle. And for example, as a reference, in Verona we have 60 connected intersections, but for example, we had a pilot in Berlin a couple of years ago with more than 1,000 intersections, and we have it live now in Trondheim, Stockholm, and other Nordic cities. Last but not least, in order to do all this, we have set up a data warehouse that is implementing advanced data mining techniques and ensures a harmonized data access. And based on this, we prepared for the operator an integrated city dashboard that is customized, and based on this, we can make sure that the operator has access to the KPIs that can measure the efficiency of all the features that we show before in real time. This is more or less where we are present with the systems and the solutions that I presented. And that's all for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Again, great timekeeping. Is there any questions for the audience for that presentation? You'll notice there's some microphones in the middle, so you don't have to go very far. In fact, they'll come to you. There must be some questions on that. Okay, just if I may then, some maybe connections. You talked at one point about paying for results rather than the software. And I'm interested, what kind of business model is that proposing, and how do you judge? What are your KPIs, or what are your success criteria when you talk about paying for the results? Do you negotiate a certain amount of traffic efficiency, or how does that work?
Yeah, so you are talking about traffic management as a service, exactly. What we were proposing. So the idea is it should be a win-win solution, and the main advantages from a public authority side are two. One is the fact that you would have always an updated system, because it's not in-house, but it's updated on daily basis. And the second, that you should pay for what you get. So this connects me to your question, because you should define a set of KPIs, and in function of these KPIs are customized, of course. So in function of the features that you acquire, you are able to define some KPIs. We have some proposals in order to be able to measure the efficiency of of the service, basically. So, as I was saying, you should pay for what you get. So this would be an advantage.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just to follow on that, and again to kind of wrap up the loop, the connection with this conference. I mean, SWACO, we also know, is heavily into the road infrastructure as well. So the KPIs, in terms of breaking down the silos, are the KPIs maybe also considering, or are you considering, protecting the asset, or is it just focus on the traffic management? Are you also looking at the environment? You mentioned air quality. What do you have some thoughts about how you might
if they are connected to the traffic management as a service, they are connected to the feature, to the ITS features. But generally, when we talk about the city dashboard and about managing and visualizing all the data that you could have available in the data warehouse, it could be anything, also the maintenance of the road paving or whatever. So let's say the connection to the conference, I see 3 points. One is that ITS is overcoming infrastructure limits. So this is one point. The second, I was saying before, we are now working on really integrating physically nanotechnologies in the road marking. So this will connect more and more the two words. And third, with installing less devices on the road with IoT and the big data, and you would preserve more the road pavement and the infrastructure. So these are the 3 elements that I see.
Excellent.
Okay.
Any comments on that? No one has any views on that, or you all think it's wonderful? Great. Thank you.
Oui, bonjour, merci pour la présentation. Face à ces systèmes intégrés de gestion de trafic et de gestion de données en temps réel, qu'est-ce qui nous prouve que vos systèmes sont plus en avance que des systèmes grand public style Waze, qui finalement impactent aussi beaucoup le comportement des usagers en cas de congestion ou en cas d'incident sur le réseau? Pour un gestionnaire, qu'est-ce qui va nous prouver que vous avez finalement un coup d'avance avec ce système par rapport à un logiciel grand public type Waze?
Okay, so I'm not very good in French, but from what I understood, you are asking me why systems like Waze are not better than us, and why we think that we are better. And we think that we are better due to 2 main reasons. One is the coverage aspect. So we did a lot of study within the last years on data sources coming from data providers, like here TomTom, Unix, and of course they have a lot of potential, but the data coverage is not enough in order to do a proper traffic management all over. So one is data coverage, so you need to integrate more data sources. And the second is that they don't have access to the management infrastructure. So what we are trying to achieve is a coherent traffic management among all actuation channels. So direct connection to the users, traffic lights, VMS. We have access to the actual control infrastructure, and this needs to be balanced. So the traffic management plans that are actuated through the traditional channels should be coherent with everything else. And these kind of competitors, okay, they can be competitors, let's say, for the data collection, but not for the control and for the management. Okay.
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 Right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. COCONEA. Thank you. Very good. Give her a round of applause again. Okay. Thank you very much. So now you have a double act, deux personnes. Monsieur Anthony Catoen, close enough. Okay. And Monsieur Philippe Rayleigh. Anthony Catoen is is our host actually from the NEAT Côte d'Azur metropolis, so he can tell you all about all of the things that are going on just outside of this building. And Philippe Rayleigh is from Diagway Company, and together they will be presenting again more issues about the optimization of the road network management in the NEAT Côte d'Azur metropolitan area, and I understand also some links with the heritage as well, which I think will be very interesting. Please.